everyone. How are you doing today? Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. It is Friday and I just watched one of the most disturbing YouTube videos on Brian Kohberger to date. So I'm going to be talking about this video I just watched. It has Howard Blum, you know who he is, and Megyn Kelly. We know Megyn Kelly. She's on the news and she is talking about Kohberger's past and potentially tainting the jury pool. So is it possible for Kohberger to sue from jail? Because the things that Howard Blum and Megyn Kelly are putting out there are disturbing, right? And we know that Megyn Kelly, if you guys have ever watched her, she used to be a lawyer. So as an American myself, as a veteran myself who likes to think that these people hold themselves to higher standards, apparently they don't, right? And this is so problematic. So what is Kohberger going to do about this? Is he going to sue? In my opinion, he should definitely sue. Why? Because Megyn Kelly is out here. Let me see, how many views does she already have on this video alone? This, ladies and gentlemen, is how you taint a jury, right? So this was posted 1 day ago and already has 254,000 views. Now, let's be real, right? Let's not be PC here. Let's be honest with each other, guys. Do you think most Americans are going to actually question Megyn Kelly? Do you think that most Americans are going to question the news? Sure, there's a lot of Americans that now are finally starting to wake up, but they're like, it's Megyn Kelly, you know, she's great, and so is Howard Blum. They're not going to question her. A lot of Americans, which is the majority of people that are watching her are American, I'm sure, are not questioning her because they're like, well, she's a lawyer. She used to be a lawyer, Nika. She knows what she's talking about. Well, apparently, she knows, maybe, but she just doesn't give a damn, right? So I'm pulling up the chat here, guys. Let's see. Is it going to work? Is the chat working? How's your Friday going, by the way? My Friday, I'm exhausted. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm very tired. I'm very, very tired. So bear with me, guys. You know, if you guys notice that my speech is slurry sometimes, you know, my brain, when I'm tired, it wants to revert to my native languages. It's too much brain power, right? Hoppers Droppers, hi. Who else is here? Taurus, babe, hello. HH4, Dawn is here. Lesia? Is it Lesia? Lesia? I'm not sure how you say that. I'm so sorry. Hi, welcome. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Doc. Hi, Teresa and Amanda. And Lisa's here. Hello. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, you're always supporting me, girl. I appreciate that. Most of you guys are always supporting me, so I appreciate all of you, right? Amanda, hello. Amanda, yes, sue, slander and defamation, exactly, right? And I'm just wondering, is there something he could do now? We know that he's in jail. Can he sue now? When these people like Megyn Kelly have so many views, they have such a massive audience that they could reach very quickly, and they're not saying, like, again, us YouTubers are expected to say, allegedly, in my opinion, speculation, theorizing, right? We do that for a reason. Is it obnoxious? Sure. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear that, but we kind of have to do it, right? Because we don't want to get sued, right? It's a thing on YouTube. You don't want to, also, personally me, I don't want to be held accountable for painting, you know, false narratives and affecting somebody's life potentially, because that's like sociopathic, right? So basically, let's go over this this interview, right? Teresa's here, Alice, Taurus, Too Fast for Fleas, Hoppers, hello, everybody's here. Welcome, guys. Lady Speedwell, hi. Justice for Kilo, Thrive Off Grid. Ooh, off grid? Neat. So, I think that Megyn Kelly should be sued by Bryan Kohberger, right? And I think Howard Blum should be sued as well, because they just did this interview that is, let's see. Oh, it's like a 5-minute clip, right? And they start spewing BS from the get-go, guys. From the get-go. They start talking about, well, we know that he was going to be terminated at U of I, and then he got into a fight with his professor, right? And then Megyn Kelly has the audacity to say, well, we know that Bryan Kohberger overcame obesity. We know that he overcame his heroin addiction, but he could not overcome his night terrors. He could not overcome his self-torture where he feels like a piece of dead meat. I'm like, by the way, that's not what was on the thread. He never said a piece of dead meat. He said like a sack of meat, right? Like a piece of meat. But I think it's funny how they add the word dead in there to make him appear darker, to give all of us a darker impression of Bryan Kohberger, right? So how is she coming to these conclusions? Because we, to this day, still don't know that he was actually going to be terminated, right? Okay, sure, he lost some weight, great. Did he actually overcome an heroin addiction? We don't even know that. To this day, that is still speculation. And then Megyn is like, well, he's obviously a sociopath. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but do you have a master's degree to be able to diagnose this man from a couple of posts, a couple of online posts, right? She's like, he's a sociopath. You don't know anything. Do you have a master's degree? I think you should stick to lawyering, Megyn, because you can't even do that. You can't even do the one thing that you're supposed to be good at, right? She cannot even be a lawyer. We know that any good lawyer would wait until a client goes to trial to come to the very harsh conclusion that yes, Bryan Kohberger is now guilty. Shame on him, right? But I'm like, no, Megyn, shame on you. You should be ashamed. I am ashamed of her because how is she finding Bryan Kohberger guilty, right? You were an attorney in your past and you're finding him guilty out of these couple of posts and made up BS that Howard Blum spat out because he's trying to write a book that of course he's going to monetize. He's already monetizing it, right? Shame on both of them, but especially her because he is a writer. He can technically make shit up, right? I'm sure there are legal loopholes like, this is how I imagined it. This is how it went down. Fine. We'll brush it off as a dangerous creative. A dangerous because this is a DP case, sir. So you should be very careful how you paint this, you know, picture of Bryan Kohberger. But for a freaking lawyer to come out here, post this 4-minute video, top 5-minute video, talking smack about Kohberger, saying he's guilty, he did this, he's a sociopath. Stick to your role, okay? Lisa, thank you for the $19.99. I see your face in the top corner. Hi, thank you so much. But I'm just like, ugh. Does it bother anybody? Because if it doesn't, it should. This is a lawyer. This is a lawyer. And then she goes on to say, it was the beauty of these girls that made his blood boil. Look, this is not to be rude or condescending or speak ill of the dead. You guys know I don't do things by the book. I am not PC, nor do I care. But honestly, what does that have to do with this case? The beauty of these girls, they again are painting this narrative of Bryan Kohberger, the sociopath, quiet incel who was jealous of these beautiful girls. I'm sorry. And the girls, you guys know, I've talked about them. They come visit, you know, their auras and spirits are sometimes here. Maybe it's because they know they're happy that we're talking about them, right? That we're talking about this case. But they were not anything above average. They were beautiful, sure, but why are they making it seem like these were like 3 supermodels, like wanted by everybody? Sure, they were beautiful girls, but you can't say that he unalived these girls because of their beauty and that that's what made his blood boil. Because we also have Ethan, right? Who was a male in the area when that crime took place, who was also unalived. What about his beauty? Was it because his beauty? Did Ethan's beauty also make Kohberger's blood boil, according to Megyn? Right? If we're going to go with the beauty theory, we can't discount Ethan being there, right? What's up with that? And then she goes on again to mention the stalking. It's like, why are we still talking about this, guys? It's the end of the year. This case has been going on for 2 years and basically 2 months, right? Yes, Lady Speedle, isn't it annoying how Ethan is always forgotten? Why is Ethan always forgotten? Why? I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't fit this narrative that Megyn and Howard are trying to push. They were just beautiful girls. You know, they were the most beautiful in all of Idaho. Were they? They were pretty girls, but they were average girls. Let's be real. Pretty average. There's no problem. I'm pretty, I'm average. It's not a bad thing. Stop making this like something it's not. And when we throw Ethan into this narrative, it doesn't fit. That's why they forgot, or they pretend to forget about Ethan. Again, it does not fit this story that they want us to believe, right? And that's horrible because this spotlight, since this crime took place, has been on the girls. But we know that there are a couple girls that have been on the spotlight more than others. Because why? Because by apparently what people think in the real world, were some that were more attractive than others. Therefore, this is a crime of jealousy. You know, it was committed out of jealousy. He wanted these beautiful blondes. When we talk about Xana, there is very little emphasis on her as well. No Xana, no Ethan, as if they didn't exist. Horrible. It's all about the cute blondes, right? That's what Megyn, Kelly, and Howard want us to believe. And then she says, yes, the stalking. Again. 2.5 years later, almost. Ma'am, Megyn, if you don't want to get sued, you should be more cautious of your words. Because Thompson, right? If she were a decent lawyer, she would already know this. We wouldn't have to be here talking about this. But apparently, she's not only a bad lawyer, she just seems to be a horrible human being. To come up here, talk about Kohberger stalking the victims when Bill Thompson has already come forward and said that there was no stalking, no evidence of stalking. So Megyn, if you're a good lawyer, you would have known this information because you would keep up on this information before you decide to spew nonsense. That being said, if she knows that already, then maybe she just is a piece of shiz human being, right? Because if you already know that as a good lawyer, then now you're just a bad human being, spewing nonsense to get clicks, to continue to get views on your stupid video that is nothing but lies. It made me sick to my stomach watching this lawyer. Like, it's disgusting. And then she paints this picture of, and then he grabbed the knife and plunged it into his victims. And I'm like, bro, like, you are worse than like Korean K-pop dramas, right? Like those soaps that people watch, so effing dramatic. It's like, I know that this is what you do for a living, right? I know that you need these clicks, like, because she probably couldn't be a lawyer after this nonsense. She should lose her ability to be a lawyer after this nonsense that she's spewing. So she has to be dramatic, right? Overly dramatic talk about this knife being plunged into the victims. And I'm like, ma'am, we don't even know, to this day, we don't even know if that was actually the weapon that was used in this crime. Because when Maybet, the coroner, came forward and described the bodies, it sounds like it was something more than a K-bar. If you have not watched my videos of where I'm showing my K-bar from when I was in the military up close, yes, it's a big weapon. It could cause some damage, but it does not match, in my opinion, the horrible damage that was done to the victims. The way the coroner described these, massive wounds on these victims, I think there could have been a K-bar involved, maybe, but it is also possible that there were other weapons involved. Some people have mentioned machetes, for example. So the only thing that has me restless post listening to her trash is I know that Howard Blum, the writer of this book, is, I'm sure, getting a big payout. So, Megyn, Kelly, are you getting some sort of payout from this book? Because this is what an advertisement looks like, right? You bring the author into your channel, get him 254,000 views. That's just on the first day. It'll probably double by tomorrow. 500,000 views by tomorrow, probably. You just promoted this author. Are you getting a pay cut? Is she getting a pay cut? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Megyn Kelly is going to get a pay cut from Howard Blum's book? And again, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Everything in this video is speculation. They're talking about him getting kicked out of the program, but it's speculation, right? We know that they don't have access to any confidential PhD information at all, right? This is confidential. The university is not just going to release these records to the media, especially to Megyn Kelly, for God's sakes. Like, use your brains, right? All I can say is I just pray that a juror is not watching this and that I never have to be on trial being accused of something I didn't do, because this is a problem. This is a problem with America. This is a problem with innocent until proven guilty, right? It's supposed to be that way, but it doesn't work that way in the real world. Why? Because we have these mega corporations, these huge, massive channels owned by mega corporations that are paid to promote a narrative. And then on top of that, a lot of them could be getting pay cuts. Is Megyn Kelly getting a pay cut from Howard Blum for indirectly, well, actually quite directly, in my opinion, promoting his book in this video here that she just posted? And don't forget, people, even if all of what I just said, even if you're still like, well, Kohberger did it, I personally can't forget how quickly 1122 King Road was torn down. That alone is suspicious AF, right? And on top of that, we know that there are other 3 sources of unknown male DNA. I went to Megyn Kelly's video. I did not watch the whole thing because I don't want her to get a view. I skipped the ad because I don't want her to get revenue. And then I posted a comment. I'm being petty, I know. I posted a comment and I was like, what about the 3 unknown male DNAs? And I had to post it 3 times because it's like somebody kept deleting it, right? It finally posted. And I'm like, did people forget that there's other DNA that was found at the crime scene? Is that not suspicious? So I'm just very disgusted post this video. Let me know, what do you think about Megyn Kelly calling herself an attorney in the past? Like, is this not something that she should be ashamed of? calling this young man guilty. Not only that, but now she's pretending that she has a psychology degree and saying he's a sociopath and this and that. Ma'am, stay in your lane, because again, you can't even do that. So that's it for the day, guys. I just wanted to get that out before the weekend. So yeah. How's the chat? Wow, the chat is like, there's a lot. Sleuthy Kitty, they just throw, yeah, they just throw crap at the wall to see what sticks, and it's sticking, right? It's always what sticks is, again, not just in this case, but in several cases, what sticks the most is a PhD student, incel, sociopath, who was, I don't know, a teenager when he was posting these things on social media. Like, if you dug up the things that I posted on social media as a teenager, especially, even as an adult, like a young adult when you're 20, like before you're 25, right? Before your frontal lobe develops, literally, it's going to be dumb. It's going to be stupid. There's probably going to be some teenage angst in there somewhere. There's going to be something weird. So yeah, unfortunately, in this case, what stuck was Brian Kohberger, the incel, the sociopath, stalking these beautiful girls, you know, because it was the beauty of these girls that made his blood boil. It's like, Megyn Kelly, calm yourself. They're average looking girls. And let's not forget there was a man there, Ethan, a young man, right? I think Xana was very beautiful. Yes, she was. She sure was. And they don't talk about her a lot. But again, there's something about the American subconscious that we are just drawn to, like rescuing these blonde girls. Xana gets very little attention from the media, right? And statistically speaking, guys, this is the case when they are looking at reports, like law enforcement is looking at reports of missing women. If you are blonde over a brunette, and if you're attractive, conventionally attractive, you're more likely to get more law enforcement to look into your case or to look for your missing blonde daughter than a brunette. Am I upset about that? No, because I could just dye my hair blonde, right? Like as these girls did. I've been a blonde before, but I'm just saying, speaking from psychological facts, right? If you're blonde, you're more likely to get more attention by the media. It's like being America's sweetheart. In every case that you've seen across the media, just look across the board. The blonder, the more attention they get. And it's very unfortunate. I personally dislike that, especially because we know that Xana and Ethan were also victims. And they suffered the same fate, if not worse, than the other two. So we're not going to talk about them according to the media, right? Why? Is it because they were not cute and blonde, or why? Owen says, has dated several girls from Gettysburg University, and no, I would not have taken any of these girls out. I'm saying they're pretty. They're average, right? Average is normal. It's not a bad thing. But if you're a blonde, statistically, the media is going to paint you as like, oh my God, America's sweetheart. It's horrible what happened. It's horrible what happened. I'm just saying, we can't forget about Xana and Ethan, right? You have to be able to see past these biases that we have in order to understand what the media is doing, right? They are using these biases to create a story to sell to you. But I'm not buying anything. You might not be, but if you're clicking and you're watching like Megyn Kelly's video, you are buying. You are buying. That's how revenue is made here, by clicking and leaving comments and things like that, right? So yes, you are buying if you're watching these stories that news channels are sharing across YouTube. Maybe you're not watching news channels. Maybe you're buying the book directly from Howard Blum. See? Too fast for Felice says, I can't believe Megyn had Centrum Decrepit on her show spewing that nonsense. That's hilarious. Justice for Kilo, well, if she was a good lawyer, she would know what she's doing is slanderous. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And because she is being slanderous, and she obviously knows what she's doing, then well, what does that mean? Then that means we are just left with a shitty human being, right? Because she knows what she's doing is wrong. So what do we do with shitty human beings? I personally think that Brian Kohberger should sue. This is why so many people cannot get a fair trial, because we have lawyers who slander people who are technically innocent until proven guilty before they can even get to trial. Amanda says, Nika says it the way it is. I try to, and it upsets people sometimes, but I don't really care. So Lisa, it just makes me sick because she's a lawyer, so you think she would know the law and stand for justice and honesty. But of course not. I think there's a lot of good lawyers out there, but a lot of lawyers are just in it for the money. They don't really care about justice and honesty, right? It's about the payout. Exactly, Amanda. And the golf clubs. Yeah, what happened to the golf clubs? Last I heard, they're still MIA, are they not? Small Fry says, I think the frat needs to be looked at very closely because there are a photo of a group with boys with the K-bar like knives. Exactly. And some of Dylan as well, am I right? Too fast for fleas. The big mainstream media promotes whatever narrative is popular, no matter if it's right or wrong. Exactly. And they do that. Why? Because they are incentivized to do so. They are incentivized to spread the narrative that is the most popular because it gets the most clicks, therefore making the most money, right? So if you're like me, small channel, you're not going to get promoted. It doesn't matter if you're for justice, for honesty, for transparency. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fit the algorithm, right? So the algorithm, if I really wanted to make money on here, if I didn't care about justice and yeah, if I didn't care about justice or honesty, I would literally start another channel talking smack about Kohberger. Like if I had no conscience, you know, what is that word? Avarice, right? Megyn Kelly has avarice. Is that how you pronounce it? Avarice. Yeah, extreme greed for wealth or material gain. If I didn't care about those things, I would just start another channel and grow like this within a couple of months. All I have to do is make videos that talk about all the popular narratives, which is Kohberger did it, he is an incel, he is a sociopath, there are messages to prove it. Thank you, Gordon. Oh, thank you for the $20. You are amazing. Oh, that is so cute. Is that a pear? Is that a dancing pear? Thank you. But, and I'm not saying I'm better than these people. I'm just a human. I am also flawed. What I'm saying is that's how you know people's intentions, right? But not all of us are here to make millions and not giving a shit about other humans. Some of us are not wired that way. Part of me is like, how do people do that? How can you just get on your platform, Megyn Kelly, call yourself a lawyer, and then say that this man is guilty? Bro, you're a lawyer. Do you not care about humans? Do you not care about justice? I guess not. I guess not. But that's just my point of view, so it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're all going to die, right? So because we're all going to die, eventually, we should take care of each other. We should help each other. And this case has been suspicious since day one. Why would we throw a young man with his entire life ahead of him under the bus without having the necessary evidence. You know why we would not do that? Because if we do that, then we're giving law enforcement the, it's cool to do it to me too when I end up in jail. So either way, guys, I'm pretty peeved. I'm going to go. Have a good weekend. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave an emoji. Yeah, that's it. Have a good one. Take care.